left. You're right. Your sister was home when you left. You're right. Your brother was home when you left. You're right. Your dog was home when you left. You're right. Your cat was home when you left. You're right. The fish was home when you left. You're right. Your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Lieutenant Commander J.R. Galpohkpa Chesson talk show. Today is January the 11th. Today is another week, and I rise with some excitement this morning. So let me get my lesson, then you will see why I am excited. My topics: impeach U.S. President Donald Trump for a second time, U.S. House and Speaker Pelosi. 2. Liberians discuss corruption among political parties and leaders. 3. Love and submission. Let's get into my topic. Okay, my first topic. Impeach President Donald John Trump for a second time. I wake up this morning elated at the hope that the United States House of Representatives and Speaker Nancy Pelosi will move forward today with the impeachment process for the second time of President Donald John Trump. You know, I hear people coming out talking about, oh, he's diminished, that he just need to leave and go away. There's not much time for him to be impeached and all of that. Donald Trump must be punished. What happened last week was a blatant attempted coup d'etat of the United States government. Some people may think this thing is over. Some people may think Donald Trump will just dissipate and go away. Yes, he's now on Twitter. For now, he's not on Facebook either. But how long will his suspension from the other public media sites be suspended? They can't suspend it forever. Donald Trump may become a radio talk host or a TV star or something. You never know. But he must be punished for his actions by the United States government and the people, because that was a blatant act to overturn the decision and votes of the American people. This is not Russia. This is not communist China. This is not North Korea. We are a democratic nation and have been that way for nearly 4 centuries now. Yes, one group of people have always thought they had a right to this country, above every other group. That has persisted for over 300 years now. And we cannot continue on this trend. America belongs to American people. And all American people, not only white American people. You see, and nobody hate American people. At least, not the people I hang around. At least, not the people I tolerate around me. Because America is my country. Whether I like it or not, this is a peace and comfort I sought in my life to get away from third world countries, to get away from banana republics, to get away from places where one or two family rule. Yes, I thought America was a bigger nation, even though there's nepotism. I saw it from the time I came to this country. People talk about the same Donald Trump and his family, how they're so rich. And this man has been placed on such a pedestal. American people believe he's God or something. And people stated it. So when people got that kind of belief in a man, that he is above human and is infallible, can't do wrong. What hope is there if that person is egotistic, selfish, self-centered, like Donald Trump? Where else we going? We ain't going nowhere but into dictatorship, or into greed, for power, for wealth, for everything else. Because when you take a man who is already self-centered and greedy and give him power, something he never really felt before, you get that man that kind of power, and you feel emboldened to want to take over the leadership of the United States of America permanently. It's a problem. It's a problem. And we cannot forgive this man. He cannot be diminished enough. We got to go after him and diminish him as much as we can. Try to take all his cash from him. Try to put his children in jail. You know, Junior Trump's standing there spewing that kind of thing. And that other idiot, Rudy Giuliani. And all these senators that back this man, Mitch McConnell, from Mitch McConnell down, all of them, Mitch McConnell, all of them down. They got to be punished and made to pay for their actions against the American people. You know, some of us, we can't take our freedom and citizenship in America lightly. Some of us died to get here. Some of us starved and suffered with the hope of being free from useless dictators, traitors, oppressors, race supremacists, and all these useless things. We didn't come to the country for all that stupidity. And we got to stand strong with American people to break this curse of race supremacy, to break this curse of the privileged few, to break this curse of nepotism in America. This thing is prevalent throughout America. People come in, their children and their wives serving in every position in this country. This is terrible. It's no different from Africa or some banana republic. America has been this way since I've been in this country. And I could not understand, nor can I still understand, how can a great country like this have people, families, running this country like some third world country. You check the White House staff, all of them in the White House staff, nothing but the senator's children and the friends of the president's children and his children. All of this got to stop. We want fairness in America. We want to be able to live and breathe in America. We want diversity in America. Race supremacy cannot work no more. We got to take the arms from the useless underbellies in our societies and give it to the military. Strip them of every automatic weapon. People coming into the Capitol building dressed in army uniform, ready to carry out what? Against the United States of America. All this got to cease and desist. And black people, minorities, got to be significant and integral in this effort. We got to pull together, be collective, unified in our effort to change this racism, to change this society and make it represent all of us. Get rid of all those Confederate names of our military bases. Let Donald Trump and his other racists, Mitch McConnell, all of these people go away into oblivion. The time of the true American people is now. And my African brothers and sisters, we are no different from other Americans. We got our citizenship. Whether it naturalized or born, we are American citizens. And we can stand up for our justice, equality, and protection in this country, just like any other American. And no damn race supremacists or white terrorists got any hold over me. We own America. This morning, I tell you when I wake up, I go through all the sites. Yeah, what people talking about. And I come on my show and put all these things together and try to present my educational points on all these different topics. So this morning I was listening to Leo Johnson in Liberia, and he had a good topic on his show. He was talking about corruption throughout Liberia. Our country suffers from a serious accountability problem. And the thing he brought up about the corruption among political parties and leaders, sometimes we get so involved, entrenched in dealing with the government, we don't look at societies, the other entities in society that are opposing government as well. And for our society to be equal and fair and to cure all the ills in our society, we got to put on different lenses. We can't just be tunnel vision focused. We got to put on lenses to look all around us. And if we're questioning money, we should look at every institution and question their practices and speak out about our observations of things we notice that need to and must be changed in our communities, in our society. Because sometimes we listen to all the holla holla and we forget that we are an integral part of society. And not only the government directs our lives, directs our money, directs our abilities to act collectively. or unified or solidified together. So we need to, when we're attacking government, we need to pay attention to all the organization entities and parties around us that try to direct our behaviors, try to have us to knit to things that they organizing or leading. And Leo Johnson raised a very good point this morning that I had to catch myself on it. He said we're always talking about corruption in the government, but we don't check on these other political parties. We hear nobody in Liberia challenging political parties to present records of their financial spending, of their collections of monies. We have no accountabilities of the political parties. The Liberty Party, Bromsky went and bought all those jeeps. Nobody know where he got the money from. Nobody had any accounting of how many jeeps he paid for, how he got the funding or anything. The same thing with CPP. And they come in there collecting money. This is the man who ran Firestone. And he has no integrity enough to know that when he's chairman of a political party, there must be reports. He must set examples that we don't think about because we are not political people. Yes, I did political science, I did and law, but if I'm not into that area, I'm more into my military and security area than law. That has been always been my calling. So anybody who know Rodney Chesson will tell you, my calling has never been law. I did it because I'm good at it. But I've always been a security person in my life, and that ain't gonna change. Because I'm not a flip-flopper. I'm not a man looking for power. I have a profession that I love, and I'm gonna stick in my profession and perfect myself in it. So some of us don't look at the other things in society. And the people who are supposed to be thinking on these things for us, the people who are supposed to be educated leaders and managers and all these things, they take over our entities, our governmental and public entities, and run it just as incompetently as any other organization in our country. Now look at all the political parties. Leo Johnson was right. How many political parties in Liberia have given out financial reports, have told us how many they collected? Even Darius Dillon. All the money Darius, I was thinking about the same thing. People going around giving Darius Dillon 200 a year. 200. What is the accountability of his collection? He hasn't accounted to the Liberian people what he's been collecting for all these people. He hasn't told us anything about his own financial collections. There is no financial report from Darius Dillon. So all that money he's taking in for his own self. And that money is not supposed to be like that. If you take in money for political purposes, that money is supposed to be saved and geared toward that purpose. And these are the things Leo Johnson brought out this morning. Our country is corrupt. I knew our country was corrupt, but when we start directly hitting these points and issues of the mass corruption in our country, it comes back to haunt us. You see, because all of these things, people are going to school to be trained for them. All our economists, all our business people. Why do I have to come out, or Johnson got to come out and bring up all these things when we got economists, we got accountants, we got all these people who know what's supposed to be happening. We got politicians who know what's supposed to be happening. And I'm glad that our children are getting educated. And we got to understand what our duties and responsibilities are. Now, Leo had a fall too. He's in Liberia. He can't speak out to the corruption that's going on all in Liberian government throughout the system. But what he does, he says he has to bypass the corrupt people and find people who are honest, somewhat honest, that will support what he want to do. He want to build a educational center or whatever it is. That's a private entity, yes. But if you're going through anybody in Liberian government to build anything, whether the person is honest or not, you got to give kickbacks because they are not the one to make the final decisions. Maybe the final decision got to go to the minister. It got to go to the assistant minister. Then you need the assistant minister to go talk to the minister to sign it. So you got to bribe there because that's the system of bribing. No matter how you try to dodge the system, you got to drop money to corrupt people. So you become a part of perpetuating corruption in your own country. So it's a vicious cycle. Nobody can avoid it. You can't say I'm not corrupt, and you got entities that need the signatures of government officials who are corrupt to function in the country. So you are part of the corruption. And that what makes our whole country corrupt. It's not the first time. It started from Tottenham time. We got to put fault where fault is. From Tottenham time to today, most of the ills we are suffering have been for these 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 administrations we've had leading Liberia since Tottenham time. So we got a serious problem in our country. And that's why we always got this thing in our lesson. Liberian people, listen to your lesson all the time. When a fish head is rotting, the body will suffer. The whole body is corrupt and rotting. The head cannot get rotting and the body is still alive. The head is the brains. It controls every function in the body. All the nerves of our body flow through the senses in our head. They get all the sensory movement. All the messages come from the head. The nerves, the brains, everything. So when the fish head is rotting, there is no way the body can escape corruption. So there's no way we can avoid corruption, my people. And our whole system of checks and balances is screwed up. From the government to every organization to every political party, there are no checks and balances. And that's why Leo Johnson was talking about. You go listen to his tape on Facebook. You can go on my timeline and see his page. I put it on my page too, because that's a significant discussion we got to have. Why is our country so corrupt? We are corrupt. Our check and balance systems for fiduciary transparency is dead. Are dead. That's why there's so much stealing and dishonesty in our country, in every aspect of our societal living in Liberia. Because when a head is inherently corrupt, everybody gotta get robbed. Look at all the people who haven't gotten paid. How you think they've been living? You think they've just been getting money to come to work every day on their own? No. No. Using Donald Trump language, shit rolls down the hill. If somebody taller up the hill, it ain't gonna stay up the hill. It gonna come down the hill. So everybody under the hill gets corrupted and get the stench. So this is what we're doing in our country. We got to look ourselves in the mirror. Everybody in Liberia has been affected by a corrupt system of living. So it must change our country and bring systems of accountability, of trust, of fiduciary transparency. It got to start with the man in the mirror. We got to look ourselves and say, no, we are tired with this kind of living. We are tired with the stealing. We are tired with the corruption. We are tired with our country dying and be underdeveloped. We want roads. We want good schools. We want lights. We want our government to be accountable to us. You taking our money? Let us know how much you taking. Let us know how much you got. Don't just sit down with the four top party leaders who have been corrupt from time immemorial. Benin, Nigeria, Boka, Elekomi, all of them corrupt. They sit there, collect money, and don't tell nobody. Then they blame George Weah, who is worse because he's corrupt with the government money. He got money coming in that we show is our money, and he's corrupt with it. But the parties are just as corrupt. Because if you can't govern a party, if your party is not transparent with money, especially, you collecting our money, you're not printing how much you collected, you're not following the processes of the greatest democratic republic in the world, America, the founder of democratic, constitutional democratic standing. Even if we can't meet their standards, this is the greatest democracy in the world. We see that it got flaws today. That when you sit supinely and think everything is all right and you don't have to pay attention to your government, this is what happened. What happened on January 6th in America is what happened when American people sit supinely on their behinds and think what the people leading the country doing is in their best interest. No, no, no. You got to get up and make sure what they're doing is what they say they're doing. How can you trust a human being? Now the evangelists in America are the biggest race supremacists and race warmongers in America today. Why would the church be behind separating and dividing American people? That's human being, human nature. You cannot trust no damn human beings. You got to be on your toes and check on these corrupt, evil people because they will always do things for themselves and their families. And if you're not checking on them, you don't have systems of check and balance, you're too dumb or stupid to ask questions because all of us being dumb and stupid. I never thought about accountability amongst the political parties. They got to account for the money they're collecting, for all the money and things they're buying for their parties. We want to know it. We want to know how much they got for the party. We know how much they're collecting for the party. We know how much. We want to know how much they're spending. Those are public entities, and they demand under the law to let us know full transparency of how much they're collecting, how much they're spending, and what they're doing for their political parties. It's no damn secret. And just how American democracy functions, that's the leading democracy in the world. And we can see they got some serious problems too. Why? Because it's an experiment that has not been completed. And as we weed out the greedy people, the race supremacists, the people who have preyed on other Americans all their lives for 4 centuries, as we weed them out, and they get mad and want to overthrow the system, and we push them aside and tell them, no, we believe in democracy. We believe in diversity. That's the strength of the United States of America. Diversity, democracy. This is how our country been all the way. And in our experiment, we have had some wicked people, some greedy people, some deceitful people, just like in Liberia today. America has been through what Liberia is going through today. It's no damn different. But what they did, they weeded the corrupt, evil elements of the society out. You got to weed them out and punish them and let them know that we got examples for dealing with criminals in our country. But before we do that, we got to look at the man in the mirror. Do you have the virtues, the qualities of a patriot? Can you stand and say, no, I never participated in the stealing. I will not participate in it. I will not be deceitful and lie on other Liberian people where I know who did it. These are the fundamentals and foundations of patriots. You placing your country's interest before your own. I'm not going to lie on Peter to save Paul from who's a real thief. Why would I do that? So Paul can see again and steal worse than he stole before to steal my left eye. When you see a rogue, you got to stand with the people who want to punish that rogue. Because a rogue is a threat to all of us. He will not just steal from one of us, he will steal from all of us and blame it on somebody else. And these are the consequences in life we got to deal with. That's why Liberian people, we got to stop the corruption. We got to stop the steal for steal make God laugh. We got to stop the trust and don't pay. We got to stop every one of those songs we used to sing under Talbot and Tutman about corruption. We got to build warriors, defenders, and protectors of the resources and people of the Republic of Liberia. And that's where Attorney Commander J.R. Galpohkpa stands. We got to stand on foundations that matter to our country, that matter to our lives, to our livelihood, not just a few people and their families. Why would I take $100 and watch a man stealing $1 million? Then I say that equality. Then I say I like that man. I'm a cheap, useless crook. And that yields me no progress or advancement. And this is where Liberian people are. We got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Look at the man in the mirror. Are you competent? Are you qualified? Are you a patriot? Do you have clean hands? Look at the man in the mirror. Then you look at Elliot Cummings, Benani Ure, Joseph Borka, and ask them, are you accountable? Are you a man of fiduciary transparency? Why you haven't told us how much you collected for us? Why isn't it made public? How much you collecting from us? Where you doing our money? Why the political parties in Liberia do not make financial reports and they won't lead Liberian people? Transparency is the hallmark of good leadership, equality, and fairness. Aluta. My third topic, love and submission. You know, as a political scientist, a lawyer, a correctional officer, I've heard so many personal problems of love, submission, and all these things. And I hear Liberian people, our little love people, and all of that, talking about love and submission and family. So this morning, as usual, I was fortunate to check on my sister, Psych Grace Goa, and her Liberian Women Advocacy Group, Lawani, or something like that. And this morning, she and her co-host Vera were on with a pastor talking about love and submission. So I was listening then to them for a while, and they were talking about love and what it entails and submission and all of that. Nothing wrong with that. But the kind of love that we were talking about, they're not the kind of love in Liberia. They were talking about Western love or Christian love, where people pray to God and go in church and find each other. But what the Liberian women doing for their love? Going to juju men, sleeping with juju men to get juju to get their husband. And the men no different. The men doing the same thing, going to get juju for women. So when you talk about love and submission, I want to know where all these topics coming from and where they're going. Because if love's supposed to be free and fair, then you sleeping with me, then you going to sleep with another man who's a juju man. You even know whether that man got disease or not. You don't know how many women that man will sleep with to get the same thing that you want. But you go with them and sleep with them. And they make juju for your husband. And you got to go put it in his food or drink it and bathe with it. Is that fair? The men no different. They put all kind of things in women's food. They go do all kind of things to gather the women. So what kind of love is that now? What kind of love is that? Is that natural love or what? Yeah, I want to know this thing now because if you come and tell me you love me, then you got to go sleep with juju man to get me. And I tell you I love you, and I got honor women marriage, honor dog world marriage. The things I've been hearing about lately in the Liberian society, I never dreamed they had dog world, man. When the people be telling you about these things, you think you question yourself. Is it true? But it's damn true. It's damn true. They got underworld. And some people are married in the underworld. Then they come and want to follow women in the real world. That's why it doesn't work. You can't have all these secret spiritual things going on in your life to get men and women. Then you talk about love and submission. What kind of love and submission is that? How will you make me love you by force and you say that's love? It's not natural. How will you go sleep with another man to put things in my food or wash yourself with things, then come sleep with me for me to love you? So when the love getting weaning away, you got to go back and sleep with another man again to come back to get me. What kind of loving are those kind of loving in Liberian society? And my people, some of those things are religious. Some of those things are part of their religious practices. And it's good to know these things too. It's good that some of our Liberian women speak to us when talking these things. And the men, they got their own things too. They need to talk. Because until you know what real love and real submission means, you cannot teach our society about love and submission. Our people got to understand that the love we're talking about rests on the Christian love. So you got to distinguish your love when you're teaching Liberian people. You got to let our people know that the love you're teaching them comes from the Christian side, where you have no other gods before you but Jesus Christ. Then you rely on that kind of teaching that relates to love and submission under the Christian principles of love. But if you come from the traditional side, where say you can go to Juju man and sleep with Juju man and put things in your food, husband food, and do things to make spiritual sacrifices for him to love you, how can that love last? It cannot last. It's not natural. It's not natural. Then when you see people married, they can't live together. But when they live apart, they can't live apart. They want to see each other. But they can never live together because it's not natural. They don't match. So there's just unhappiness in the family. The wife, when you're around each other, you will never be happy. Because the God or those things, those supernatural things, is not to keep you together. It's to keep you in control. It's all about control. Controlling the person's mind. You see? And you listen to Deborah Croman when she was telling you about those kind of things. There's always a price you have to pay. If you're controlling somebody in the spirit, you got to give something in the spirit too. And that's why she was telling her friend told her, don't rub that thing because there's a demon snake that comes to sleep with you. Because when you go and sleep with people that doing ritual things, you don't know why they have to sleep with you. If you go to a juju man, he tell you, yes, I will do it, but you got to sleep with me. You got to know why he will sleep with you. He put in something in you. So I just thought to touch on that thing because even when I was listening to Grace Gordon and Vera, I put questions there. I said, what kind of love that? Is that juju love or is that real love? Because our society has changed so much from what it was in the 1980s and 1970s. Yes, juju was in our country, but it wasn't like now, man. It wasn't like now. People just doing it because it's their belief now. Christianity is obsolete in Liberia. People just say they are Christian to say they're Christian, but they go to the juju shrine and things. So that's the challenge of your faith. That's the challenge of your love. That's the challenge of your submission to each other, submitting your love to each other. We come from a society that dwells on juju and voodoo and all these kind of spiritual power things. Power in what do you call it? Powerful things, spiritual, powerful things that we try to bring into our lives in every aspect of our lives. And I don't know, but when I listen to Liberian love stories and spiritual stories and sex stories, I always wonder, is that Christian or is that enemies? But I just bring all my lessons together to see. I tell you, I go on various sites, listen to everything people have to say, listen to the arguments, and I come and present mine. So when I'm presenting it, I don't need people coming on and telling me the same thing over and over again because it ain't going to change. We just need direction. We just need people who can put all these things together and say, look, yeah, this is right, but you got to think about this. Nobody pushing anything down your throat. I just bring to focus those things that must be brought to focus. Whether to my focus or to your focus or to our focus, we have to understand our society. And even listen to Leo Johnson this morning. He had another young Liberian on who said he went and met George Weah. He told George Weah, you need to get rid of some of the people around you. All that. But if our young people do understand leadership too, you can't advise George Weah. Because people coming home and say, oh, you need policy for this. How you develop policies? How you think policies are developed? You just go home and say, oh, I will develop the policy. No, that's what we feel time and time again, because we come with these American philosophies of policies and all the things, and not understanding the basis of writing policies. We write policies based on our experiences in the workplace, experiences of how to better the lives of the people we serve. Then we try to direct them through setting policies down that guide their actions in that direction. So you can never come up and write policies until you know your society and the people you're dealing with. Other policies will be useless. So before we handle anything in Liberian society, our young people coming from abroad got to understand the spiritual nature of Liberian people. It's not a joke. And if you don't understand what is spiritual and what isn't spiritual, and what you can change through policies, and what you have to change through the societal, cultural lineages, you will fail. You will fail. So writing policies and laws, we have done that from time and time again. Why you think Liberian people that tell you young little dummies out there that all the laws Liberia need on the book? We have written laws since 1822 to 2022. So what more law you want to write? You can write all the laws you want to write. If you don't implement them, if they are not conducive to the society you want to lead, you will fail time and time again. Rise up, my children. Rise up. God does not come down to talk to us. He sends technocrats, like the Tony Commander, Galpohkpa Chesson, to teach the teachless. Aluta! Continua. Young children, my class is over. The Tony Commander, Galpohkpa Chesson got to go. I told you I need support. So when the lesson that I'm teaching you settles in your mind, settles in your soul, settles in your spirit, and you have nowhere else to turn, and you say, this is the man telling me the truth. Send me the money I asked you for. $5 from every Liberian in the world. I want $5. I ain't gonna force you. I ain't gonna push you. But your feel. Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson is an asset to Liberia and Liberian people. Voila. Have a good day.